Hey there, and welcome to Understanding Electrical Panels. I'm so excited you're here, because today we're diving into one of the most important but often overlooked parts of your home or building. Your electrical panel is basically the brain of your entire electrical system. And honestly, most people have no idea how it works or why it even matters. But by the end of this video, you're going to be an electrical panel expert, and you'll understand exactly what's happening behind that metal door in your basement or garage. So stick around, because we're about to make electricity way less confusing and way more interesting. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is an electrical panel? Well, imagine your electrical panel as the main distribution center for all the electricity flowing through your building. It's like the heart of your home's electrical system, pumping power to every room, every device, and every appliance you use. When electricity comes into your building from the power lines outside, it doesn't just randomly go everywhere. Instead, it arrives at your electrical panel first, and that's where all the magic happens. The panel takes that incoming electricity and divides it up into different circuits that serve different parts of your home. Some circuits power your kitchen outlets, others power your bedroom lights, and some handle the big appliances like your air conditioner or water heater. Now here's your first question, and I want you to pause the video and think about this. When you flip a light switch on and off, what do you think you're actually doing? Are you starting and stopping the flow of electricity? Or are you doing something else entirely? Leave your answer in the comments below, because this question is going to help us understand circuits even better. Before we go deeper, let me explain the main components of an electrical panel, because understanding these parts is absolutely crucial. Inside your panel, you'll find several key elements working together like an orchestra. First, there's the main breaker, which is the on and off switch for your entire electrical system. If there's a major problem, that main breaker cuts off all power to your whole house. Then you've got all these individual circuit breakers, which are basically smaller switches that control individual circuits. Each one of these protects a specific part of your home from electrical overload. You've also got the bus bars, which are metal conductors that distribute electricity throughout the panel. And finally, there's the grounding system, which is absolutely essential for safety and helps protect you from electrical shocks. Let me tell you something really important about circuit breakers, because this is where a lot of confusion happens. A circuit breaker isn't there to give you more electricity or to save you money. Its job is completely different. A circuit breaker is a safety device designed to automatically stop the flow of electricity if something goes wrong with that circuit. When you plug too many things into one outlet, or if there's a short circuit, the breaker detects this dangerous situation and flips off, cutting the power before anything catches fire or gets damaged. It's literally saving your life and protecting your home. Pretty cool, right? Here's your second question, so pause and think carefully. Why do you think your electrical panel has multiple separate circuits instead of just one giant circuit powering everything? What's the advantage of dividing things up? Drop your answer in the comments, because this helps us understand circuit design. Now let's talk about amps and volts, because these terms get thrown around a lot, and I want to make sure you really understand what they mean. Volts measure the force or pressure of the electrical current, kind of like water pressure in a hose. Amps measure the amount of current flowing, like the amount of water actually coming out of that hose. Your household electricity in most places is either 120 volts or 240 volts, depending on what you're powering. The main service entrance to your home typically provides 240 volts, but then your panel splits that into separate 120 volt circuits for standard outlets and 240 volt circuits for large appliances. Each circuit breaker in your panel has an amperage rating, and this is critical because it determines how much current that circuit can safely handle. You might see a breaker labeled 15 amps, or 20 amps, or 30 amps. That number tells you the maximum amount of current that circuit is designed to carry. If the current exceeds that limit, the breaker automatically trips and shuts off. This is why you can't just keep plugging more and more things into the same outlet. There's a limit to how much electricity that circuit can safely deliver. Let me ask you the third question, and this one's important. If you reset a circuit breaker that keeps tripping every time you use a particular appliance, what do you think that's trying to tell you? What's really happening? Pause and answer in the comments, because understanding this could prevent a fire in your home. So let's talk about what happens when something goes wrong, because that's when your electrical panel really proves its worth. Imagine you've got a faulty appliance with damaged wiring. Electricity can flow in unintended ways, creating what's called a short circuit. In the old days, before modern circuit breakers, this would just cause a fire. But with your electrical panel protecting you, that breaker detects the problem almost instantly and cuts power to that circuit. The appliance stops working, but you're safe and your house is safe. That's the beautiful thing about proper electrical panel design and maintenance. Another common issue is overloading a circuit. Let's say you plug your toaster, your microwave, and your coffee maker all into the same kitchen outlet at the same time. Each appliance is pulling power, and the total demand exceeds what that circuit breaker is rated for. The breaker does its job and trips, cutting the power. Some people just keep resetting the breaker, but that's dangerous. The real solution is to spread those appliances across different circuits. Now, I want to introduce you to something called GFCI outlets, which stands for Ground Fault Circuit Interrupter. These are special outlets commonly found in kitchens and bathrooms, and they're specifically designed to protect you from electrical shock if you're near water. A GFCI outlet can sense if electricity is leaking to the ground in dangerous ways, and it cuts power in milliseconds. They're brilliant safety devices, and honestly, they could save your life if you accidentally grab a wet appliance or use an electrical device near water. Here's your fourth question, and pay attention because this directly affects your safety. Where in your home do you think GFCI outlets are most important? And why do you think they're placed in those specific locations? Think about it, and tell me your answer in the comments. Let me explain the difference between single-pole and double-pole breakers, because this shows up in electrical panels all the time. A single-pole breaker controls circuits that run at 120 volts and uses one hot wire. These are super common for your regular outlets and lights throughout your home. A double-pole breaker, on the other hand, controls circuits that run at 240 volts and uses two hot wires. These are what you find protecting major appliances like your electric water heater, your air conditioning system, or your electric range. Double-pole breakers are essentially two single-pole breakers joined together, and they flip off together if there's an overload. This makes sense because those high-voltage appliances need more protection and more power delivery. Here's something many people don't realize about electrical panels. The way they're organized and labeled tells you exactly what's what. Every breaker should be properly labeled with what it controls. In an ideal world, you could look at your panel and immediately know that breaker number 5 controls your bedroom lights, or that breaker number 12 controls your living room outlets. But I've been into homes where the panel is completely unlabeled or mislabeled, and that's dangerous because you don't know what you're turning off if there's an emergency. If you ever have work done on your electrical system, make sure those breakers get labeled clearly. Let me talk about electrical load for a moment, because this is something electricians think about constantly. Your total electrical load is simply the total amount of power your home is using at any given time. If you're running your air conditioner, your water heater, your oven, and your laundry machine all at the same time, you're pulling a huge load. Your main service entrance and your main breaker have to be sized appropriately to handle the maximum load your home might ever need. This is why older homes with 60-amp service panels sometimes struggle when people add new appliances. The panel's capacity is simply too small for modern electrical demands. Now here's your fifth and final question, so really think about this one. Why do you think newer homes have 200-amp service panels while older homes might only have 60 or 100-amp panels? What's changed about how we use electricity? Pause the video and give me your answer in the comments, because this helps us understand how electrical demand has evolved. Let's discuss some common electrical panel problems you might encounter. One issue is double tapping, which is when two wires are connected to a single breaker. Most breakers aren't designed for this, and it creates a fire hazard. Another problem is tandem breakers or twin breakers, which are super narrow breakers that let you fit 2 circuits into 1 breaker space. These are sometimes code compliant, but they're controversial because they can create overcrowding in your panel. Then there's the issue of a full panel, where every single breaker space is occupied, and there's no room for new circuits. If this happens, you need an electrician to expand your panel. I want to be really clear about something, because safety is paramount here. Your electrical panel is not a do-it-yourself project for most people. I mean, you can learn about it, you can understand how it works, and you should absolutely know where your main breaker is. But actually working inside your electrical panel, that requires a licensed electrician. The voltage and current inside that box is seriously dangerous and can cause electrocution or death. So please, if something is wrong with your panel, hire a professional. It's not worth the risk. Let me talk about the grounding system, because this is absolutely fundamental to safety, and it's something many people don't understand. Your electrical system needs a path to the ground for safety purposes. If there's a fault or a short circuit, the electricity needs somewhere safe to go. That's where the grounding system comes in. A copper rod is driven into the ground near your home, and that rod is connected to your electrical panel. This provides a safe path for fault currents to travel to the earth. Without proper grounding, a faulty appliance could cause you to get electrocuted when you touch it. With proper grounding, the electricity travels safely into the ground instead of through your body. Another really important concept is bonding, which is similar to grounding but serves a different purpose. Bonding connects various metal parts of your electrical system together, so they're all at the same electrical potential. This prevents dangerous voltage differences from developing between different metal parts of your home. For example, your water pipes, your gas pipes, and your structural steel all need to be bonded together and connected to your grounding system. This might sound technical, but it's one of the most important safety features in your entire home. Let me talk about surge protection, because this is increasingly important in our modern world. Your electronics are vulnerable to power surges, which are sudden spikes in voltage. These can come from lightning strikes, utility switching issues, or large appliances turning on and off. A whole house surge protector installed at your electrical panel can protect all your devices from these surges. It basically channels the extra voltage safely to the ground before it can damage your expensive electronics. This is a smart investment if you live in an area with frequent thunderstorms or power issues. Now let's discuss what happens during power outages, because this reveals a lot about how your electrical system works. When the utility company has to shut down power for maintenance or during severe storms, they essentially shut off the power at the main breaker at your home, or sometimes even before that, at the pole outside. Everything in your home goes dark because electricity has stopped flowing. Some people use generators to maintain power during outages. And these generators connect to the electrical system through a special transfer switch that prevents dangerous backfeeding of electricity into the utility lines. Here's something interesting about electrical panels in different regions. Building codes and electrical standards vary by location, so the specifics of electrical panels can differ depending on where you live. In North America, we typically use the National Electrical Code, but other countries have different standards. This is why you need to hire local, licensed electricians who understand your area's specific requirements. They know what codes apply to your home and can make sure everything is safe and compliant. Let me explain what a subpanel is, because you might encounter this term if you ever expand your electrical system. A subpanel is essentially a smaller electrical panel that branches off from your main panel. It's located elsewhere in your home or building and serves a specific area or purpose. For example, if you build a detached garage and need circuits out there, you might install a subpanel in the garage rather than running individual circuits all the way back to the main panel. The subpanel gets its power from the main panel through a large wire, and then it distributes power locally. It's a smart way to organize complex electrical systems. Let me talk about the difference between older and newer panels, because this helps explain a lot of variations you might see. Really old homes might have fuse boxes instead of circuit breakers. Fuses work on a similar principle to breakers, but they actually melt when too much current flows through them, and then you have to replace them. Breakers are much better because you can just reset them. Newer panels often have more features, better labeling, and more safety mechanisms. If your home has a really old panel, it might be worth upgrading to a modern one, especially if you're experiencing frequent breaker trips or if you want to add new circuits. Let me wrap this up by talking about maintenance and inspection. Your electrical panel should be inspected by a professional electrician every few years. They can check for loose connections, signs of corrosion, proper labeling, and any issues that might develop over time. If something looks wrong, like burn marks or discoloration inside the panel, don't wait. Contact an electrician immediately. Prevention is always better than dealing with electrical fires or serious problems. So, here's the big takeaway. Your electrical panel is the unsung hero of your home's electrical system. It distributes power, protects your property, keeps you safe, and makes modern life possible. Understanding how it works gives you respect for the complexity of electrical systems and helps you appreciate the safety mechanisms in place. You now know about circuit breakers, volts and amps, grounding, GFCI outlets, and so much more. You're equipped with real knowledge about how electricity flows through your home. Before you go, I really want to remind you about those 5 questions I asked. Pause the video right now if you haven't answered them yet, and leave your answers in the comments. I read every single comment, and I'd love to see what you've learned. You can answer all 5 or just one, but please engage with the material because that's how learning really sticks with you. Thanks so much for watching this video on understanding electrical panels. If you learned something new, or if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos about how things work. Share this with anyone in your life who